So good morning, one and all, and also to all the enthusiastic learners who are online. I welcome you all on the ICR Day HPGA Foundation celebration. It's a tradition that we bow to the divine within us before we start our program. So I invite the students to come and sing the institutional prayers. Come. Shruti, Bhairavi.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. जी गरज नहीं
Somebody can come. हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मन विजय करे, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करे। हमको मन की शक्ति देना, भेदभाव अपने दिल से साफ कर सके, दोस्तों से भूल हो तो माफ कर सके, झूठ से बचे रहे, सच कदम भरे, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करे। हमको मन की शक्ति देना, मुश्किलें पड़े जो हम पे इतना कर्म कर, साथ दे जो धर्म का, चले जो धर्म पर, खुद पे हौसला रहे, बदी से ना डरे, दूसरों की जय से पहले खुद को जय करे। हमको मन की शक्ति देना। Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
आए
I invite today's speakers, Dr. Chetna Sakpal, Dr. Dhaval Akbari, and Dr. Bipin Jain to garland the portraits of our masters, Dr. Henneman, Dr. L.D. Dhawale, and Dr. M.L. Dhawale. And Dr. Tiwari, sir. Yeah. Sing.
गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Now I invite Dr. Kumar, Director ICR and Chairman of MLD Trust, to introduce today's topic.
Good morning, all present here as well as online. This is the, if I calculate, 142nd birth anniversary of L.D. Dhawale. And we are entering into the 99th year of M.L. Dhawale. We have been observing these Founders' Day at least for the past more than 60 years. I have been attending since 1970. Initially it was HPGA Founders Day, and now we are celebrating the joint anniversary because both birth anniversaries come close, 14th and 21st of July. Both the masters were masters in analysis. And it is but natural that they gravitated towards Boenninghausen and Boger. The degree of their analytical capacity can be gauged by a few memories that I have been told and which I have been witness to. I had an aunt who died very early. And LD Dhawale was treating her in some of her last days. And my kaki told me of an instance when she was very seriously ill, LD Dhawale's daughter. And LDD had just come from the hospital where she was ailing, and he came home in the afternoon. He sat down for his meals, and the moment he sat down, he received the call that she is no more. And without a word, he, as was the culture at that time, prayed to the serving plate which was served and walked out to complete whatever was to be done. I remember when my grandmother passed away, it was in the middle of the night, and we were told in the morning, and we were woken up at 5 o'clock. And what I woke up to was a typewriter typing away on the dinner table. MLD was typing some articles. And my uncle, who was 15 years senior to my father, he was staying away, and he came and he remarked and admonished my father and said, "Ki tula kai watat nahi ka? Ki your mother is lying and you are typing away." And MLD answered that I cannot do anything else for her now. I have my work to do. We have to wait. So let me do my work till all the relatives come, and then we will move ahead. Ability of these people to function under severe emotional stress, I think, allows them to keep a logical, analytical mind, which Boenninghausen and Boger both demand. So, this happens to be our forte as an institute. And luckily, the PhD studies, which had been taken up by our first batch, also included these masters. And we are lucky that today we are here because the institute has been blessed again by a number of people who believe in us. Hitesh sir, when you approached Pratap Singh Chauhan, who was the VC of SGGU, Malini Kishore did not have a post-graduation. But he agreed to recognize the college as a PG institute. Obviously, Hitesh sir's and Pratap Singh sir's chemistry has a lot to do with it. But it definitely allowed us to launch research studies of the type that we would like to have without any unnecessary interference. And that is how we have been able to present this day. Because now we have had 4 PhDs passed out from SGGU. I am glad that all the 4 of them are here today, and we will be able to felicitate them. So the idea of having this program, as we have mentioned in our brochure, is that ICR philosophy is based on the readings that the masters undertook. But not many of us have subjected these writings to scientific analysis. And in the world of today, even whatever you say has been intuitive, has been given from the gods, but the gods now are in methods of science. And so unless you are able to subject whatever your tenets are, your principles are, to scientific methods, your work has very little value. And so we were lucky that both Dr. Dhaval and Dr. Bipin have worked on aspects of Boenninghausen-Boger respectively. And what I would like all of you to note is that we are not going to teach Boenninghausen-Boger. So don't be under the impression that you're going to go home having learned few or new facts. What we are going to try to explore is how scientific methods need to be applied to principles, to philosophies. And in the process, what are the challenges that the researchers face? And while we were looking at this program, we were glad that Chetna lent herself to the slaughterhouse. In this respect, Chetna, I would like to give a small instance of the TPB. MLD sir was on the selection board of the director of NIH. That must have been in 1976 or 77. And along with him was Dr. Jugal Kishore. And both of them were in Dr. Jugal Kishore's office. And it was time to go. So MLD sir just asked Jugal Kishore, they were talking something about Boenninghausen. And he asked him for a copy of TPP. So Jugal Kishore gave a copy. The copy was a rebound copy. It was an old copy. The binding must have got dissolved. So it was a rebound copy. And the rebound copy did not have the title page. It was just a book, a blank book without any identification of what the book was. And believe it or not, MLD sir, in his mischievous way, handed over the copy to all the interviewers one by one to find out whether they knew what it was. And only Dr. Muzumdar was able to identify that this is therapeutic pocketbook. So you are in good company, because now almost 50 years have passed and the book has further gone into oblivion. So it is a good thing that Chetna is going to come and resurrect it from the crematorium and try to put it up in the stage. But what I would like to again emphasize, that the process of researching is a process, and I think all PhD scholars have known it, that it is a process of a lot of ups and downs. What Chetna has experienced is only a small part of what you will experience when you actually start your PhD. But I think Dhawal has been one of the persons who has had the most, and I think he must have taken some calculus or something in the process, because the amount of work that Dhawal has done is, I can tell you, cannot be described, not while doing his PhD, but post-PhD. And I really have to compliment Dhawal for lending himself to our torture chamber and coming out of it in such a beautiful way. So without standing in front, I will ask Gayatri to take the function forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now I invite our youngest speaker, Dr. Chetna Sakpal. Please come in, Chetna. She's Associate Professor of MLDMHI in the Department of Repertory, and she'll enlighten us with the topic, a comparative analysis of Robert's method and Dr. Emil Dhawale's modified method of Boenninghausen's approach. It's a case-based analytical study. Come. Doctor.
A pleasant morning to one and all gathered over here and those who are present online. Myself, Dr. Chetna Sakpal, Assistant Professor in the Department of Repertory, MLDMHI. I welcome you all on today's occasion of ICR and Founders Day. At the very outset, I would like to express my gratitude to the administration for providing this opportunity and platform to share our learning and the experience. I would also like to share that this is the work of a department. It's a teamwork, and which is carried out under the esteemed guidance of Dr. Bipin Jain sir and Anup Nigvere sir. And I'm just a humble representative, privileged to share this experience and learning before you all today. So let's begin our journey. So the background of the study was, in the history of homeopathy, we all know Dr. Boenninghausen as having an analytical mind. He, through his careful observations and logical interpretations, gave us the complete symptom, the concept of complete symptom and grand generalization. The construction of therapeutic pocketbook was based itself on the fundamental hypothesis that the totality is not only the sum total of all the symptoms, but is in itself one grand symptom. Dr. H.A. Robert has given or introduced a method of utilizing this therapeutic pocketbook, and it is available in the introduction to the TVB. It comprises of location, sensation, modality, and concomitant, and it is popularly known as Robert's method of Boenninghausen's approach. Though he has devised this systematic and reliable approach, but at the same time, it happened to be elaborate and time-consuming. It required a lot of efforts in terms of time. And I'm sure as a student of repertory, we all must have solved at least one case using therapeutic pocketbook and Robert's method, and this would have been a similar experience that it is quite laborious and time-consuming as well. This very challenge has already been recognized by our Dr. MLDMHI sir and Dr. Chetna Sakpal sir. In the year 1967, in the book Principles and Practice of Homeopathy, Dr. MLDMHI has written a method of Boenninghausen approach. It's an order that he has given over here, and he also says that if a case is well taken, we can evaluate the symptomatology qualitatively and combine the rubrics in the following order, employing each as an eliminating rubric. In the year 1978, Dr. Chetna Sakpal sir, in the book ICR Symposium Volume 2, Paper D, have further described this evaluation in a little bit more detailed way than PNP. Before the evaluation order, he says that Robert's method is elaborate, not only time-consuming, but also it lacks selective discrimination of rubrics. He further says, repertorization is not merely a mechanical quantitative approach, but is essentially a qualitative evaluation through formal repertorization. Further, he has made some rearrangement in the order that is there in PNP, which I have demonstrated over here using arrows. As you can see, the causative modalities are brought under one heading. Craving and aversion, pathological generals are again brought under one heading of physical general, sensation and complaints, and the striking concomitants have been placed after physical general. We can see in the symposium volume that there is no any mention of eliminating rubric or eliminating method. This we assume or we believe can be their clinical experience which would have resulted into this change, which a decade-old experience after the publication of Principles and Practice of Homeopathy. So we can see the evolution of their thought process as well regarding the method. So we began a journey. This very background gave us the idea and the purpose of the study. And we began our journey with the purpose of studying whether Dhawale's modified Boenninghausen's method is as effective as Robert's method in arriving at a simillimum. It's a different story that how our principal, Sir, Dr. B.S.J. Sir, challenged our mind, and he asked, can this be a scientific hypothesis and can we actually test it out in the language the current world understands, that is research and statistics. Believe me, when he says, देखो होता है क्या, करके देखो होता है क्या, it's actually karo, and you have to do it. So we began this exploration. The first and foremost thing was the selection of the cases. The main thing was, shall we consider our clinical experience, or means shall we consider our clinical cases first, or shall we prioritize the cases of our pioneers, that is Dr. H.A. Robert and Dr. MLDMHI sir. On discussion, we come up with, rather than beginning with our own clinical cases, we believed it would be more appropriate to first learn from the pioneers who had mastered Boenninghausen's method. Dr. H.A. Robert, in the adaptability chapter of Introduction to the Therapeutic Pocketbook, has given 5 model cases which demonstrates the practical application of his method. And 3 of these 5 cases have been solved or reattempted by Dr. M.L. Dhawale in the Principle and Practice of Homeopathy using his proposed method. So this was his deliberate attempt, MLD sir's deliberate attempt to bring out a good comparison between the two methods. So we decided to take it forward so that we can learn from those 3 cases, understand what is the actual method, his philosophy, and can continue further. Then comes the method of repertorization. We actually thought that this would be a very easy step for us because the totalities were already available in both the books of Roberts and Dhawale. So it's just that we have to find a software, do a rubric hunting, and repertorize. But that was not the case. When we actually went in the process of repertorization, we observed that the available repertory softwares were having some discrepancies in comparison with the actual physical copy of the therapeutic pocketbook. Those discrepancies were at the level of availability of the rubrics, change in the gradation of the remedies, and also omission of few important remedies. So we anticipated that this will impact our result, the repertorial outcome, and it will impact our study as well. So we decided to take traditional method of repertorization, that is manual repertorization. The plan was to re-repertorize each case using both the methods, that is Roberts' method and Dhawale's method, and make a comparison of the repertorial outcome of first 10 remedies at the level of similarity of remedies in both the groups and rank of similar remedies in both the groups. Similarity means how many remedies are common to both the groups, and a rank or hierarchy. For example, if sepia stands first in the repertorial outcome of Roberts, then where does it stand in Dhawale's method? Does it stand first, second, third, or perhaps absent completely? So this was the observation that we decided, and to reduce the subjectivity and to increase the objectivity of these observations, we decided to take help of 2 statistical methods, that is Jacquard Similarity Index and Spearman Rank Correlation Test. Jacquard Similarity Index objectively measures the similarity between the 2 groups. It quantifies the shared and the unique elements available in the groups. In simple terms, it answered the question, did both methods identify the same remedies? Spearman rank correlation test is used in a situation where ranking of the group is important. It qualifies how similarly the 2 groups prioritize the elements, and also it evaluates the consistency between the groups. So, in other simple terms, it answered another equally important question, that is, did both methods prioritize those remedies in the same order? This was the very basic methodology of our study. As I mentioned, the efforts of manual repertorization, these are done by our MD Part 2 residents. It's just a representation over here. Now we'll move to the cases, observation and results. First, we'll study the 3 cases which are solved by MLD sir in the PNP and already available to us, so that we can understand their methodology and philosophy to the best of our knowledge. So the case 1, it is the case of a man suffering from trigeminal neuralgia with this presentation. The totality of this case, the Roberts method, is already available in the LSMC format, which I have mentioned over here, and his method that is also available in PNP. One direct observation one can see is Robert has 14 number of symptoms, while MLD sir has selected only 7 number of symptoms. How did he do that? That was the question which was already answered with this note under case 1 in the PNP. Aggravation, touch, talking, rubbing are common modalities of trigeminal neuralgia, hence not considered in the totality. From this simple statement, we realized that when Dr. Dhawale said qualitative evaluation of symptom, he was focusing on the characteristic and individualizing symptoms of the case. This was our lesson, and through this window only, we continued working on the further cases. When we repertorized this further case, this was the repertorial outcome that we obtained. You can see the red font indicates the prescribed remedy, and the blue indicates the remedies which are common to both the groups. On applying Jacquard similarity, the interpretation came as good similarity, and the similar remedies were 8. Spearman rank correlation test gave us the moderate positive correlation. Then comes the case 2. It is of a 65-year-old woman suffering from acute cholecystitis with a presentation of pain in epigastrium and right hypochondrium with these modalities and concomitant. Again, both these totalities are available in the respective book. On repertorization, this was the repertorial outcome that we obtained. Phosphorus was the final remedy. We can see 8 similar remedies between the groups, and Jacquard similarity index showed good similarity. Also, the Spearman rank correlation test showed strong positive correlation between the groups. Next, we'll take the case 5. It is a model case 5 of therapeutic bucket book solved by, and the third case solved by MLD sir. This was very interesting. It's the case of a young woman suffering from depression. In this particular case, Robert also has not given the totality of symptom in the LSMC format, that is his method. Instead of that, there is a 24 number of symptoms listed one after another. So this was our very attempt to rearrange those symptoms in LSMC format, that is Robert's method. Dr. MLD in his book for this particular case have selected only 3 symptoms. Aggravation music, because it's a peculiar mental state which is a deviation from the normal state in patient. Previously, the patient was very much fond of the music and now has complete aversion, hence it was taken. Aggravation society was another peculiar characteristic of the patient, and Nels brittle as a striking concomitant. On repertorization, this was a repertorial outcome with 5 similar remedies indicating moderate similarity and weak, and on Spearman rank correlation, it was a weak positive correlation. This again gave another question to our mind, why exactly this occurred. So we again revisited the case given in the book, and on applying MLD sir's philosophy once again, we found that there are still few symptoms which we can consider as characteristic. Those were aggravation stooping, desire for motion, trembling internally, sweats easy. Nels brittle was already there. So we rearranged those, we added those symptoms as per the MLD's philosophy and reattempted the analysis, and this time it showed 7 similar remedies with moderate similarity on Jacquard similarity index, and Spearman rank correlation showed moderately strong positive correlation. In this case, we can see MLD sir has gone to a higher level of abstraction of the case, which may not be always possible for us, at least. So, if we are using his philosophy of characteristic symptom and reattempting the same case, we will definitely reach to the simillimum. In his method also, the prescribed remedy sepia was standing first in comparison with the Roberts. Case 3 and case 4 were not solved by MLD sir in the PNP, and their arrangement was also not given in the LSMC format in the therapeutic pocket book. So these are our attempt of both the totalities. We have rearranged case 3's Roberts method. List of symptoms was available, but LSMC, we have rearranged it in the LSMC format, and we have created Dhawale's totality using the philosophy that we understood. Case 3 is of a 25-year-old young man currently suffering from chronic bronchial asthma. He had childhood asthma and long list of diagnoses like acute rheumatic fever, Sydenham chorea, eczema, scabies, and on further evaluation and further repertorization, this was the repertorial outcome that we observed with 9 similar remedies and very high similarity on Jacquard similarity index. Spearman rank correlation also showed strong positive correlation. Then the case 4 is of a young female suffering from allergic rhinitis. This is the totality of Roberts and Dhawale's method that we have created. And the repertorial outcome with 7 similar remedies and good or moderate to high similarity on Jacquard similarity index. Spearman rank correlation also showed strong positive correlation. In GIST, we can see all 5 cases over here with the respective result on Jacquard similarity index and Spearman rank correlation, which varies from good moderate similarity to high similarity, and moderate positive correlation to strong positive correlation. From this observation, we further can conclude that Dr. Roberts and Dr. Emil Dhawale's modified Boenninghausen's method yields similar result in the repertorial outcomes. Both the methods demonstrate predominantly positive rank correlation, which suggests there is no compromise in the result. In Dr. Emil Dhawale's modified Boenninghausen's method, the number of symptoms are lesser in comparison to Roberts' method, thus requiring less time in repertorization. The take-home lessons from this study that we can derive were: adhere to evaluation order elaborated in symposium volume of modified Boenninghausen's method. The case determines what is characteristic. Apply it judiciously when adopting Dhawale's modified Boenninghausen's method. Symptoms common to the clinical condition should not be considered. Following the above, use Dhawale's modified Boenninghausen's method confidently, knowing you are not compromising on the result as well as the philosophy. Few cautions that we would like to share. Softwares are not reliable for using therapeutic pocketbook due to inconsistencies arising out of software's inherent logic. The TPB LN's edition 2 is error prone at multiple levels and hence needs to be replaced with the original English translated TPB verified by Boenninghausen. Further journal continues with these probable proposed studies. A prospective study using original English translated TPB verified by Boenninghausen and applying Dhawale's modified approach in it. Another prospective study of using modern repertories and applying Dhawale's modified approach in it. I would like to acknowledge our principal, Dr. Bipin Jain sir, and Dr. Anup Nigvekar sir, our Department of Repertory, Dr. Nikunjani sir, HOD, and Dr. Deve Parid. The case 1 was repertorized by Drs. Akshay Desai, Yogini Shirode, case 2 by Dr. Anuja Jadhav, case 3 by Dr. Bhumi Patel, case 4 by again Yogini Shirode, and case 5 by Dr. Akshay Desai, and Dr. Anjali Gupta also has contributed in case 3, I think. So this was the presentation and this was my experience. Thank you.
Indeed, a very, very methodical presentation. When young talent speaks in the presence of experienced mentors and supervisors of MLDMHI, it's a powerful moment of transition. Thank you. Now I call upon Dr. Hema Parikh to sum up this topic and take questions. Dr. Hema is Director Community Health Services at Malini Kishore Sanghvi. She's a professor and head of the department Repertory and head of pediatrics. She's in charge of the Umeed Cerebral Palsy Center. Please come in, Dr. Hema.
Shall I tell? Guide to whom? I had asked her to add also that I am also PhD scholar and guide too.
This is the next time.
Yeah. So, it was really indeed a great presentation, I would say. Simple, straightforward, and very crystal clear. So, any questions that any would like to ask? Anyone? Bipin sir, aap?
No questions. I'll just add one observation. That journey of MLD sir from principle and practice to symposium volume is visible by their resolving the abstracted totality and the extended totality according to symposium volume. So the moderate similarity becomes strong similarity. It is because sir's experience of practicing at abstract has further crystallized into a proper method of repertorial rubric, their hierarchy and the outcome. So both what you have done initially with seeing sir's abstract in PNP and then redoing it according to symposium volume has given us an idea about sir's orientation, about what is happening to different learners and what it requires a learner to be on ground and work on the cases. So this also talks about his ability of getting feedback, reflecting, and what is the need as a teacher. It's a beautiful abstraction to the operations, which is so readily available through this solution. Thank you.
The most interesting was that case in which the rubrics got reduced to 3. So it was more like a MLD attempting keynote approach through repertorization. So the risks increased. The moment we tried to follow the middle path and reach 7-8 rubrics, a balance came and the risk decreased. So this will also tell us the risks associated with keynote approach, which in experienced hand comes to the simillimum, but for a starter, it becomes a tricky zone.
So that is why the eliminating symptom in PNP, not there in symposium volume. Yeah.
So while going through the cases in the PNP, from materia medica angle, if I see prescribing a remedy of CPR to a male patient with the totality, it becomes really difficult to understand the integrated evolutionary totality. But giving importance to so clear analysis and selecting symptom and their combination of symptoms. So use of the eliminating, that if this is there, then only the next group of remedies will come. So then this also helps to reduce a prejudice to great extent. Because I would have never thought of CPR, means I was trying to solve from materia medica point of view, if that remedy immediately strikes, but that remedy was not striking. But it was coming highest in repertorization. So that was one of the challenges that were encountered.
I would say it was a great learning process for me. Since the homework was given to me, I really had to study everything. And it was, frankly telling, it was a very fruitful and insightful experience. So thanks, Dr. Chetna, for giving that opportunity that I went back to TPB, introduction, all the aspect of it. And that is how we could understand this better, because there is always a question when you are teaching in UG also. Which method to be utilized? And then there are 3 totalities available, like TPB cases, it is solved with LSMC in introduction. Then PNP is little different and symposium volume is different. So that always is a question, and I think that has been really beautifully, skillfully, simplest way that has been clarified through the presentation that has been done. So I really tell, and I think when students I talk about, they miss out this step in the case processing, because they take the case and they prepare the totality. They always miss out on the step of analysis and evaluation, and that is how we miss out on the outcome of the case. So this is a beautiful examples, and this is the way I think we can work, and this idea is really great of working on solved case, looking at it different way, scientifically and analytically. I had only one question, because let me also ask that in the case of tic disorder, like there is statement written that the moment ear discharge was treated, otitis, and then immediately that was treated and the complaint of tic started. So whether that can be taken into any connotation, because it is directly written. So whether that is a suppression, or why wasn't that taken in the totality if at all, because statement is clear. This complaint was treated allopathy with modern medicine, and the complaint of tic started. So if there is...
Yeah, I also asked the same question, why it is not positive modality in Dhawale's method.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the statement is clearly written over there. After suppression of the ear discharge,
yes,
it started with trigeminal neuralgia. So in the further explanation, if we see, Robert also appreciates this as a causative factor only and gives priority to that. But that particular symptom as elements from or aggravation is not available in therapeutic pocket book. Hence, he has kept as ear discharge at concomitant. No. So when I ask this question, if we are re-attempting Dhawale's method, why we are not taking it as causative modality? Because Dhawale sir also has kept it as a concomitant. But this query was solved by Dr. Bipin Jain sir, that causative modality also has a time correlation with the disease. There is a time correlation which we can consider as a concomitant. So that's the thought process behind.
No, but I mean concomitant as a ear discharge and causation as a separate.
No. See, what she's saying, please understand, since that rubric is not available, but in a life cycle of an individual, something has happened. There is something happens later on. Both events are important. We may look it as a cause effect, but if that is not available, then both event acquires importance in totality, and from a different perspective, there are two complaints which individual has suffered, which has no direct time correlation from that perspective. They are two associated complaints in somebody's life cycle. And that is one of the definition of concomitant which Dhaval will explain. How our SCR talks of associated complaint and chief complaint and not accompaniment and time. And if rubric is not available, how do you understand? No. I understand what you are saying.
My point is, it is not a question, because when we make totality, we don't think about rubrics. Ideally speaking, because we are supposed to make totality, then go to repertorization.
So then she represented repertorial totality and not the totality.
Doesn't matter. So, I'm just asking, that is how.
So from that perspective, if it is not there, then there are different definitions of concomitant, which I think the next will and how do you use associated complaint or past history in a matter of repertorization? That is also an technique, which probably we are not taking it and we are just giving it away, because it's the same susceptibility which moves. So we'll have to look at from this perspective of generalization and specificity.
Absolutely. Discharge doesn't serve the purpose. Characteristic, maybe what?
Suppression would be a general. If specific, see, it is very, very specific in this case that this patient has suffered from ear discharge. So that is a very important tissue affinity or location that comes up with a pathology. However, if you generalize it to general suppression, that will dilute the final outcome. So now in new repertories, we have suppression of your discharge as a rubric. So now if that is added, so the recommendation that new repertory is used for repertorization, that may again help to solve the process.
There is another point in it that a system which suppresses the discharge has got a tendency to affection of nerves. Now this correlation, not all the system with suppressed discharge will have tics. Now this is an important correlations which one has to look in. So that is why I am saying please look at the system, how the system behaves and what are the different illnesses which comes up.
Fine.
No.
Yeah, but this is a thing we should think about. Yeah.
Just one.
Tarama. I think so we can conclude with questions also, and that is the importance of such presentations that allows us to ask many questions, and Dr. Chetna will try to solve with her PhD project. All the best, Dr. Chetna, and I think it was really a wonderful presentation in a very short time. She really cleared so many doubts, and sorry I added one question at the end. Thank you very much. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to stand here, sir, on ICR Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hema. I call upon Dr. Anand Kapse to felicitate Dr. Chetna Sakpal and her mentor, Dr. Anup Nikwekar, Professor, Department of Repertory. Dr. Kapse was one of the last students of Dr. MLD, and he was the ex-director of the DTH. A big round of applause to all of them. Thank you everybody. Sorry, Anup. Now we go to our second presentation. I invite Dr. Dhaval Akbari to unravel the topic, researching the importance and place of concomitance in Boenninghausen's totality using tenets of ICR philosophy. Dr. Dhaval is professor, head of the department in repertory at PP Savani, Homoeopathic Medical College. Interestingly, Dhaval के नाम में Akbari है, Dhaval Akbari. Akbari stands for nobility and greatness. So I hope and I know that this presentation will definitely add that. Please come in, Dr. Dhaval.
Thank you. Let's first talk about my love for the Boenninghausen, where it has started. Way back when we have organized the symposium on Boger in 2018, December, I think. And I have been introduced by one of the esteemed alumni of MLDMHI, Dr. Navneet, with Dr. Anup sir for some works. And sir has asked me certain questions regarding the concordance. And then we have dug up the things, and there I fall in love with the Boenninghausen. And that love still continues. And what we have done is, this everybody knows, so I will not go into that. First question, the phase 1, यक्ष प्रश्न कि बोनिंगहाउसन कॉन्कोमिटेंट लेके आया कहाँ से? सर का लैंग्वेज ऐसा रहता है, तो मुझको ये निकाल के दे कि बोनिंगहाउसन कॉन्कोमिटेंट लाया कैसे? तो हमने एक आर्टिकल छापा है. We have done this work, understanding the evolution of concept of concomitant and grand generalization. As proposed by Boenninghausen, we have used materia medica and justified that finding of materia medica with the therapeutic pocket book. That I have done in guidance of Anup sir and Dr. Hema madam, my PhD guide. So what we have done was, we have worked upon 6 remedies, 2 from the mineral kingdom, 2 from vegetable kingdom, and 2 from the animal kingdom. And we have selected the materia medica which was available at the time of Boenninghausen. As he was the very deep student, or studying the materia medica in very deep, so we have selected the materia medica pura, which was available at that time, and chronic disease. And we have gone symptom by symptom to note down which symptom has concomitants. All the 6 remedies has been worked out like that. And see that what are the things. So what was the outcome? We were able to see that many anatomical schemas, or if we see the anatomically organized structure of the materia medica, concomitants are there in many places. Again, second striking thing was, there are many concomitants which are coming again and again in all the anatomical schemas. So that's where we were able to conclude that this may be the method by which Boenninghausen may have come to these accompanying symptoms which are present in the materia medica, and he has represented that in the therapeutic pocket book. And another thing was the grand generalization. So everybody skeptical about that grand generalization, but that has the strong analytical background which we have tried to evolve. What we have done, we have identified the repeatedly coming concomitants in different anatomical locations. We have matched that with the therapeutic pocket book, and we were able to see that the grand generalization is justified in that way. So don't doubt, we should not doubt that grand generalization you can use freely. So this was our conclusion. The concept of complete symptom or concomitant is validated. Grand generalization is absolutely validated. You can expand the study also with more remedies. You can find the same things. And current practitioners can freely attempt or use the concept of concomitant and grand generalization in their practice with pretty much success. So that love for Boenninghausen goes ahead with specific What is the relative place of the concomitants in the processing of Boenninghausen's totality? That's where comes my PhD work, under guidance of Dr. Hema Madam from the SGGU, Sri Govind Guru University, Godhra, and our PhD center, Sri Malini Kishore Sanghvi, Homoeopathic Medical College. So what was the research question? Assigning the relative value to different types of concomitants, does it modify the choice of the similimum? We have done the absolute review of literature from the various sources, and we were able to identify the 4 categories of concomitants. Number 1 is known to everyone, is concomitant to chip complaint. That is the part of the location, sensation, concomitant modalities and concomitants. This is widely used by everybody. But other things not mostly used. Second mostly used was physical generalized concomitants. As Boenninghausen and Boger both have very pretty much in their repertories, they have represented that under the before, during, after menstruation, urination, stool, etc. Associated complaints as a concomitant can be also identified under Boenninghausen sir's writings, Robert's writings, and Dr. Dhawale sir's writings. If you study or read carefully Principle and Practice Part 1, Boenninghausen's Therapeutic Pocket Book, chapter on Boger's BBCR, chapter on card repertory, and other integrated approach, how you can solve the case, what are the shortcuts of prescribing. All these chapters, if you study, you will find the pretty much wider use, wider application of all this concept of concomitant in the practice. And the last thing, mostly or majorly shown by Dr. Dhawale sir and Kasat sir, was general stats, diatheses, and tendencies as a concomitant. So we have identified these 4 categories of concomitants, and what we have done is, we have taken the cases, 100 cases, with which has 2 categories of concomitants. And first, all the processes were followed, detailed case taking, though it is an observational study, but case was taken by me only, detailed case taking, analysis, all the processes followed, though I have used a shorter analysis format based upon 36 category, but not all categories, and then decide which categories of concomitants are present, 2 categories, then prescribed the remedy on the totality, validated the remedy after the follow-up with the help of Oridal scale and follow-up analysis. So it is confirmed that remedy has worked. On that cases, we have analyzed by giving weightage to the concomitants, one after another. And that weightage was used from the homeopath. Complete repertory was used, and there is a weightage strategy in homeopath. We have given 3 weightage to one concomitant first. We have noted down the repertory result. We have given weightage 3 to another concomitant. We have noted down the repertory result. We have compared that result with normal repertorization and weighted repertorization. And we have noted the positive shift in the remedies. So this is the example. In a case of GERD, calcarea carb was prescribed. This was the normal unweighted repertorization, or you can say normal repertorization. The calcarea carb placed at the 10th place. This is the weighted strategy. We have given weightage 3 to concomitant to chip complaint, that is fear of heart disease. And we have again noted the repertory result. Calcarea carb has shifted, moved forward, came on the 4th place. We have noted that. Second category of concomitant, which was physical general as a concomitant, that is menses before given 3 weightage, other symptoms kept on the weightage 1. We have again noted the repertory result. Calcarea carb was there on the 9th place. So this was our final result. What happens to unweighted repertorization? Weighted repertorization with 2 different concomitants. And this was the outcome I was able to generate. So what is there? Plus 2 minus 5, 0. That is the shift. Unweighted repertorization, the place of calcarea carb was 10. When we give 3 weightage to chief complaint, concomitant to chief complaint, it comes to place number 4. So it is a positive shift of plus 6, 10 to 4. When we give 3 weightage to physical general as a concomitant, it shifts to place 9, that is plus 1. Similarly, if there is a negative shift, means remedy goes from normal repertorization place to behind, then it is denoted as a minus. And if it remains at same place, then we have taken as a tie or 0. So this is how this has came in place. And for the analysis, we have considered positive shift of 2 from the normal repertorization as a success, and this result has came 33% success and 67% was not moving, plus 2 ahead. Now, this was something different. We all know that concomitants, everybody has told it has a higher value in your totality. And we are getting this. So I have started reflecting. And as sir has told, but I would say in a different way, it's a polishing factory of a rough diamond, which makes is a polished diamond. And through their questions, their guidance, this was the thing. Whether the weightage 3, which was used in my PhD thesis, were appropriate. Because if you use weightage strategy, there are numbers 0 to 9. You can give any number weightage. Why only 3? The process has been followed. Same concomitant was given weightage 3, weightage 5, weightage 7, weightage 9. And we have analyzed the repertory result. Remedies coming through. And what we have found is, when we give value or weightage 3, it can make shift in your remedies from the normal repertorization. But when you give value more than that, 5, 7, 4, whatever you take, that does not make any difference, or it not at all make any difference in your repertory result. But what it does worse is, it gets in the few remedies which are not useful in your case. So, weightage 3 given in the thesis was absolutely validated. Reflection 2, impact of considering all concomitants. In my PhD thesis, I have considered 2 concomitants, but there are possibilities, case may have more concomitants also. And if we give 3 weightage to them all, one by one, what happens? So, 36 category analysis column was applied. Extensive analysis, which is the tenet of ICR, and it brings your mind into straight direction. If you are moving here and there, it gives you the straight direction. And as a repertorian, I always say to my student, this is the very important step which should not be jumped, analysis of the symptoms. If you have done this correctly, you have solved half the case. If you have done mistake here, everything will be fall apart. So all concomitants represented in the 36 category column has been considered. One by one value, weightage 3 was given to them, and we have seen the shift. So this was the process followed. Every symptom has been put under. This is just an example, but it gives you the very clear-cut idea and the outcome of a case. Just an example. 6 concomitants with 3 different categories were identified after analyzing through 36 category analysis table. Number 1, anger when not understood, that is the concomitant to chief complaint. Weakness or tired feeling, which is also again a concomitant to chief complaint. Thirstlessness, which is again a concomitant to chief complaint. Bronchitis and headache, which we can consider as an associated complaint as a concomitants. And 2 physical general were present, which can be considered as a concomitant, before menses and at the close of urination, pain. And we have given weightage 3, 1 by 1 to all concomitants. We have got that result. In unweighted repertorization or normal repertorization, the place of the remedy, Kalicarb, which was prescribed in that case, was 12. If we give weightage, these numbers came, remedy remained at 12, 12. Once it goes back from 12 to 15, in one concomitant associated complaint, it goes out of the repertory result out of 15 remedies, which was considered. And in physical general as a concomitant, it shift ahead. That is a positive shift. That comes to 9. So what was the result observed after this exercise? There is no major difference identified when all the concomitants were considered, but there is an observation that physical general as a concomitant guides us to similimum compared to other concomitants. And this is the analysis of 100 case. When we give weightage, more weightage to concomitant to chief complaint, in my study, 45 cases at that concomitant. Out of that, 14 cases got the positive shift, that is 31.11% success ratio. In associated complaint as a concomitant, 62 cases were identified as that concomitant. Out of that, 14 cases got the positive shift, that is 22.58% success rate. Physical general as a concomitant given more value than other concomitants. 45 cases were identified. Out of that, 21 got the positive shift, that is the 46.66% success ratio, almost 50%. And the last, general state as a concomitant, 10 cases were identified. No positive shift was there in this concomitant when given more weightage. So that should be used with caution. So what is the conclusion? As Master said, the importance of the concomitant in prescribing the similimum, what is their value, we all know that. Commonly, the 4 categories of concomitants were identified or in the cases which was present or reflected in the review of literature. Within the 4 concomitants categories, we can make certain hierarchy, that is, if you have that concomitant, give more value to that. First is the physical general as a concomitant, then concomitant to chief complaint you can use for a more value, then associated complaint as a concomitant you can give more value, and last you should consider a general state as a concomitant. So thank you, Kumar sir, And first of all, I was 2008 and 9, I have done my ICR training at Baroda, which has made my thinking very clearer. It gives me the straight line of thinking. Thank you, respected Kumar sir, for giving me such an opportunity. And I would say rather, while my journey of PhD, he used to ask me, what is the status of your work? How many cases you have done? Every time sir meets in the symposium and he asks. And that has given me the strength to finish my PhD. And at the last moment when I was thinking to give up, few cases were there which was remained, and sir has told, Khatam kar isko. And that has given me the push, and here I am. Thank you, Anup Nigwekar sir and Bipin Jain sir, for the postdoctoral guidance and endeavor. It was not what I said, torturing chamber for me. For others may be there. I have enjoyed it. And Hitas Purohit sir, who is my mentor and my guru, always, whose guidance is always with me. My guide, Dr. Hema Parikh madam, who has guided me through my PhD journey. Dr. Prasant Tamboli sir, Dr. Devangini Broker, who has helped me while preparing the proposal of my PhD. Thank you everyone from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dhaval Akbari. I would invite Dr. Anup Nigwekar to sum up this topic and take questions. Dr. Anup, Professor of Repertory, MLDMHI, he has contributed in the subjects as a subject expert at UG and PG level at the National Commission of Homeopathy, New Delhi. Chairman, Smart Committee, Repertory of NCH. Member, Governing Council Body, CCRH for Research. And he has published papers in JISH demonstrating the evolution of the core concepts of Boenninghausen, grand generalization, concomitance, and concordance. Dr. Anup.
Good morning to all of you. I never knew vacating a formal post of a professor entitles you to deliver more work. But the beauty of it is that you should have nice lambs to be slaughtered. And luckily, I would now add Chetna to Dhawal's scenario, because Chetna's work went on for many months. People were doubting what we are actually doing. Kuch niklega ki nahi niklega. And till yesterday, I can tell you, till yesterday morning, when we were finalizing the final PPT, we still traced errors. And that's where I said curtains down. With the errors, we are going out to the floor. But it was an excellent journey at that level. We have proposed some things in her presentation. We have found a book where there is a translated version which apparently Boenninghausen has certified as an authentic translation, which needs to be tested because the current books available in therapeutic pocketbook are certainly full of errors, which need to be really looked at very carefully. Softwares is a bit different ball game, which she has made a mention in her presentation, which is a different thing. We should be taken with not a pinch of salt, maybe a spoon of salt. When you actually get down to Dhawal's presentation, the paper that he shared as his starting point, it took us 18 months to publish that paper. Dhawal and I were really reading to every single word that is listed in that Matra Medica Pura to trace the concomitants. And I am really blessed that these two people came into my life who made me think and really think hard. That paper, when it was actually concluded, Dhawal finally मुझे बोल दिया, साहब इसको अभी निकाल दो बाहर. अभी 9 बार मैंने इसको edit कर चुका हूँ. Peer review, before it went to peer, was reviewed by me 9 times. Before the 10th time I said, okay, Dhawal अभी इसको जाने दे. And Nikunj was also wearing कि साहब कब निकाल रहे हो उसको बाहर, editor of जिश, वह तुम्हारा paper के लिए जगह छोड़ना है मुझे. But that triggered the whole process. You know, Dhawal is now making a statement that he was not put into the torture chamber. Believe me, we went to his place, we knocked his doors, we opened the doors, sat in front of him and made him do what we have made him done. छोड़ा नहीं उसको. और उसने उसके ऊपर से आइसक्रीम भी खिला दिया मुझे. So the beauty of the whole show is, you know, the more you submit to the system, more you submit a scientific question, you know, which really tests what the masters have written, it's really an opportunity to learn. You know, you have to leave back some legacy. You know, we struggled thinking of what MLD sir was thinking when he wrote. We were struggling to think what LDD sir was thinking when he wrote. And none of them are alive today. So it's at one level our pure hypothesis. It's pure prejudice that we are venturing into, and for that we need justification, because today's world doesn't leave us. यानी इसने बोल दिया तो छोड़ दो, you know, ना चले. So I am grateful for both of them for their efforts. The floor is open for any questions. Their assistant is available to answer them.
I have 3 issues to highlight. One is in the conceptual level. The Bodman law has not been used. Importance of mental concomitant in physical and physical in mental. That happens to be a conceptual error in the design. Second is a issue of the logic of the software. There is an assumption that by weightage, the desired remedy would shift higher in the ranks. Now that will depend on how the weightage as a logic has been fed in homeopath. So when you are proposing a study based on that, unless we know how that weightage system is operating, this assumption that it will move to places, because that has not been borne out. Now, whether the error is in the concept of concomitants or whether it is an error in the logic of the weightage, we don't know. At least I am not aware of the weightage logic that homeopath is applying. Third is the purpose of repertorization. Now, whether the purpose of repertorization or hierarchy is to push your desired remedy on the first, second, third rank, or whether the purpose is to give a group of remedies. And in that, at some point, now after doing all that hard work and analysis, what is the limit that we reach with repertorization or the analytical method? And what is then where the intuition, the judgment, the abstraction takes over, which helps us the final selection of the remedy. So there is a point which we will reach in repertorial analysis where the logic of numbers will stop, and then the qualitative world will take over. Now that aspect has not been thought through in the design. You are only relying on repertorial analysis as a quantitative method. Now whether relationship of quantitative and qualitative exists, and quality is a fast-forwarded and a minute qualitative analysis, I don't know. Means whether your work will eventually lead to that level of use of qualitative methods to come to a quantitative methods to come to a qualitative judgment. But these are issues of logic, philosophy, as well as the software design. So there are a number of questions Now you have got a first-hand experience of 100 first-hand analysis. You know, it's a very vital experience. But if you build on this, then maybe the three issues that I'm talking of, maybe some answers will come. Think of that.
No. You want to answer something? Please go ahead.
Sir, the logic of weightage works like this. When we give weightage 3 or 5, whatever, and suppose that remedy has mark 3, then it will multiply it. 3 into 3, 9, and then calculate, and that shifts the remedy. That is the basic logic of that weightage strategy. So, absolutely you have given the right inputs that repertorial analysis or repertorial result is matter, not the shift of the remedy or go ahead is matter, but why we have done this to see that whether it can push or give more clarity to our
The issue, yeah.
See, the weightage given in the repertory is based on the incidence of symptom in the materia medica. And in the practice, we give weightage depending on what we analyze in the case. Suppose there are 3 concomitants in a case. Then the physician has to give weightage to the concomitant which he finds most characteristic in the order of evaluation. Whereas in the repertory, the weightage is given on the basis of the availability of number of times, like the grade which we give in the repertory. So weightage will depend on the case, not on the repertory. No?
No. The software doesn't work on the logic that you are assuming.
Yes, but that is what we do in practice.
No.
So the error will multiply, na?
Absolutely.
So the error will multiply.
The weightage as proposed in the softwares is a numerical number. It has no logic inherent to it, except that numerical number just multiplies itself to the primary number and gives you a higher number or whatever it is, but that makes no logical sense.
So currently repertorial softwares are restricted to analysis and quantity. Another thing is in the associated complaint, what you mentioned, the modality common to chief and associated gets rated much higher. Now whether that logic was used in your totality, I don't know.
No, I think Anand,
so all these issues of the logic, how the philosophy has been converted into rules and how those rules get fed into the software. You know, all these have to be studied.
I think we should break at this point.
Fine.
The issue is softwares are an independent study to be worked upon. We will someday come back with a big platform someday when the symposium on softwares and homeopathy is brought up. The issue is that the presentations that were made had a certain inherent proposal of study to be shared, and to that extent these studies were made, and to that extent the outcomes were shared. The ideas that are coming up, the HOD repertory can park them as future PhD ideas and get as many candidates as he wants to get that PhD done over at Palghar, maybe at Sumeru. And if there is some role to play, we can always contribute to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Anup. So, Dr. Akbari has answered many questions, but there are more questions now we have, and that will go on. And in the meanwhile, I call Dr. Manoj, Trustee Emeritus Fellow State, Dr. Dhaval, and his guide, Dr. Hema Parikh. Please, Dr. Hema Parikh and Dr. Dhaval, please come in. Please get there. Go ahead. Please go ahead. Thank you everybody. Now we start with the last topic of Dr. Bipin Jain, our veteran. The Best Teacher recipient, Principal MLDMHI, and Academic Director. He will be speaking on de-researching the Boger LDD MLD legacy and its operational implications. It sounds a little difficult, isn't it? Bipin Jain is going to solve this problem.
So still good morning. I think both of them have really increased the ये oversight और ये मैंने नहीं डाला है. So as a presenter I should have given a. So I'm still in 2016. No, somebody has checked whether I am checking each slide. So that's okay. See, what is so interesting in the morning, what we heard, is how system and the processes helps in developing research mindset. If you devote to the system and processes, I mean, I was just reflecting back that why do LDD sir, MLD sir, KNK sir went on thinking all these and went into so much of abstract? Were they only clinicians? And whatever literature we find, is there a continuity? Is there a major expansion, abstraction, and do we, in the process, has got ability to research and understand that writing? So, the presentation goes to, I mean, interestingly, I went again to general analysis and I told sir कि आपने मेरे को 40 मिनट दिया है, लेकिन मेरे को लगता है जनरल एनालिसिस पे 2 घंटा बोल सकते हैं. The amount of concepts and integration only the introduction part has needs a lot of reflection. Have you ever thought, सर ने हमको बोगर का टोटालिटी दिया कि ऐसे होगा? Did we ever question why, where, how? Was it based on certain scientific evidences? Was it validated any time? Or it is just we accepted कि ये बोगर का totality है? Same thing like what happened to Boenninghausen, right? Similarly, we accepted it, that sir has abstracted. So that is another question. You know, pathological general as a concept, you won't find anywhere else. The introduction is only in general analysis. You go back to all masters. I know I am open to get another reference of pathological general as an entity. It is not there. As far as I have done, I mean, if you have, I am ready to accept it. And how does a current advancement in a current world make Boger relevant for our day-to-day practice and operations? And the most important concept of SFFT, I know people who are in a regular or, have heard our concepts, structure, form, function, and time. It's not concept applicable to homeopathy, but it's a concept applicable to universe. Just need to look at, and the level of abstraction which we find in perceiving, I mean, you need KMD sir to explain it. It's worth listening and worth sitting down and reflecting that at what level of abstract philosophy and application can be integrated in day-to-day practice. And that is the hallmark of MLD sir. I've told sir that I will be the biggest defaulter as far as time is concerned. So I've already informed him. I'm not going to expand too much on these background studies. I'm just going to give you some reflections of whatever they have written. Interesting, when you read this sentence, pathological generals are not diagnosis. They are pathological condition. Let's understand the concept. Most of the time, we write a diagnosis. And the same thing happens when we put in CI of our SCR, of functional phase, structural phase, we write diagnosis. That's the place which is meant for pathological conditions and the state of pathology and not diagnosis. The next important sentence is, this reflects the tendency of a system. It does not reflect the pathogenesis alone. I mean, it goes beyond the state of pathogenesis, but it is generalized as a tendency of a system. Why I break it? Of whole constitution or lifetime effect. See, this level of abstraction and understanding the individual disease and the pattern. And most important is, now if we connect all these three, we understand how constitution responds to certain input, create a pathological condition in that specific organ, is individualistic to that man. Now this is the foundation. The concept of totality which you find in general analysis is, there are threefold. I'll put all three together. This is a fundamental constitution as an entering point. Current complaint is a second thing, and third is modalities. Now Boger says, to pick up the central one is a difficult task. And when you go back to pick up everything, like Chetna shared, is a cumbersome, laborious, and impractical. Now these are all words of general analysis introduction. So then what is an alternative? Now please pay attention to that this is a part which is there in general analysis, and how does it travel to symposium volume in a structured directions. So everything started with Boger, with LDD sir, and how it went on refining. So how did it travel to when you go to the symposium volume? I just want to share rest of the things. I think tissue affinity and pathological generals are common. The concept of time as we understand is very restricted. You know, we just talk about onset, duration, progress, maybe periodic or maybe, you know, alternating effects or acute exacerbations. Now here the time dimension is they are all part of our ET, right? And all of them, they form a time. How do we comprehend this and bring them into our totality? I'll also share some different concepts. Wait. So what is the meaning of tissue affinity? This is all part of symposium volume. This we have already discussed. One thing which I also want to share, that please read concept of time, because it has got different dimensions. Causation as a time, concomitant as a time, and how to, now what Dr. Dhawal has discussed about the time, you know, direct correlation with chief complaint, both existing together as a chief and associated complaint, the physical general as a concomitant which is developing with constitution, they are all expressions of time. And how do you relate them to totality becomes an important, because then we will unfold Boger from that perspective. And you will not wonder why LDD sir and MLD sir got so much attracted to Boger. This is Boger's sentence. Analysis to synthesis. Clinical foundation and experiences are the base. He advocated doctrine of generalization, pathogenesis. I don't know how many of you have read BSK's Introduction to Materia Medica. And that is the only place where he has used word as a physiological reason. When we understand reason, our concept is it is anatomy. And when we go to the Boger synoptic key as a reason, you find digestion, you find circulation, you find nutrition, you find metabolism. How come they become a part of sphere of action? So his concept was not centered on anatomical sphere alone, but the physiological processes, where the anatomical organ was not enough to explain the whole pathophysiology. Proving and reproving. BBCR introduction. What is important in BBCR introduction is seat of disease. Since we are unfolding Boger's concept, how it came into symposium volume, these were the references. And the concept is more important, as whole body seldom gets affected. What does it mean? Why the organ is so important part of the individual constitution. He gave interesting examples. Since I don't want to get into too much of and too many examples, he said sepia cures local abscess of finger and toes, which are fatal abscesses. But the next sentence is, if these fatal abscesses are any other place, sepia will not be indicated. So specific location, which becomes so important. There are few more examples which are there. So it is the seat where the pathology is. The pathogenesis you can generalize, but organ-specific explanations are so important. Few of his literature which I have explored, I have gone through almost complete literature of Boger as much as possible. In the proving symptoms, now you will understand how he has generalized clinically. When he talks of dysmenorrhea, he talks of genitocrural nerve. I mean, how many times we have thought of dysmenorrhea and nerve? So when we look at McFoss, the nerve and the muscle and the spasm, no, it makes a totality. Same way, these are the proving symptoms of xanthoxylum. Clinically, these eye symptoms of congestion, burning, heaviness, pain, grinding sore, vision, bright blue, black flashes, he generalized it into ophthalmi. One sentence, done. These are the way in which he went on making general pathogenesis and generalities, which has got clinical implications as well as practice implications. Two more examples. And we are talking of 1898. He says, belladonna, the common modality is headache worse by lying down, keeping it low. An interesting way of explanation, there is an inflammation. He says that belladonna group of remedies, Solanaceae, have got congestion. So when you lie down, the blood rushes to the head, the capillaries get involved, the heart starts beating more, the transmission of pulse goes and it's get transmitted. Now you look at the belladonna totality, and he says since there is a rush of a blood to head, the lying low is a eventual modality. And when we compare his China, he says there is no inflammation. Even in malaria, all the symptoms are because of suboxidation of blood due to loss of blood. The toxins which gets produced, they produce the hypersensitivity as well as the local reaction. Now this all explains his thought processes, that at that time when he thinks inflammation versus suboxidation, which we are still not in a process of trying to find the sphere of action and pathogenesis of the remedy. The next example, he says why hypericum is so important for tetanus, because it is oxygenated oil which produce an environment because of which bacilli die, and that is why it is a good remedy for tetanus. Interesting. He says that we cannot prove Vipera hemamelis, we have not proved in advanced pathology, but they are indicated. Now these all needs further exploration. So he was work in progress. So we will understand how the generalization of pathology connecting with the indication of remedy, modalities. Individual remedies, he has concentrated location and site, pathogenesis, modalities, and modalities, time, very, very important, time and epochs. This is all when he described lachesis. And when you read the lachesis, you understand the concepts on which he has built his materia medica. Suppressive causations. And multiple places he has used comparative materia medica as the lesson to be taken back. I think this is one of the most important example how Boger's mind work. He describes the case of a patient with chronic headache and edema. He gave glonine. There was a partial improvement. And he realized that glonine is a nitrate, which has got impact on a pulse. But patient didn't improve. So he saw urine report of a patient which has got albumin. The patient had an habit of chewing clove. So he attributed it to it, but body shown the albumin. And then urine had chloride and calcium oxalate. So he said, this is digestive system which is exhibiting through urine, the urinary system. When you go back and read strontium, these are the indicated locations along with the congestive pathology because of the pulse. And then nerve, nitrate, vasomotor, craving clove is an odd thing. So nitric acid synthesized it and gave strontium nitrate and patient improved. Now this is how mind works. We attribute in today's and whatever available, including investigations, how one makes advantage of it, connect with pathology, pathogenesis, location, and built up from the experience of the case, the simillimum. I think one of the most important contribution is, we talk of predisposition, disposition, diathesis, disease, right? Boger says, please examine. Majority of patients usually suffer and have hereditary influences directly from parents is 50%. 25% influenced by grandparents. And 25% influenced by other descendant. Interesting. And this talks of predisposition and how as a disposition I connect. Everywhere you can see the stamp of Boger in whatever methods and then you have to work out the individual organs, pathogenesis affected, take them into your totality. And he gave example of one patient where if you do the direct repertorization, pulsatilla will never come. He went into the history, past history, he brought out the type of diseases, he repertorized, he got pulsatilla, gave it to the patient and patient became all right. The most important, now you can read, amplification of hereditary influences. So you can see the concept and philosophy on which the Boger has built the whole of his repertory and materia medica. See, these are the expressions of time: rapidity and quick evolution, rapid acting remedies but disintegrate the organ, like crotellus and sulfuric acid. You can understand the time, pathogenesis, and the end result. Disintegrate the organ. Now you look at slow and deep acting. Deep acting remedies which help in tissue building and impact cell actions are antisoric. You know, it's a beautiful description of miasm in a remedy. But sometimes can be indicated in acute also. So, same article on strontium, he says, question is not what organ is affected, now this is another concept, but what phase of disease is exhibited, concept of time, the pathogenesis, by combined effect of organ. So, like strontium case, it was urinary and digestion together was strontium, not urinary alone or digestion alone. That would have given you the different group of remedies. But the combination of both reduces the number of remedies which gets eliminated. That's an important concept. Pathogenesis, a corresponding combination of affected organs, is the first thing in his totality, which there remains the modality. If you are able to reduce the number of remedies just by putting up a combination of affected organs, then put the modality to the next, the major step towards simillimum is done. It's not I am saying, huh? And this is an experience. And he gives the example, interesting example. Depends upon what organ was affected. If she had cancer of uterus, I would look up under uterus. Wait. The next example will give you the real insight. If the infection is in the leg, it is in the muscular part of the leg, it is a muscular system. Look up in the muscles, not the leg. All action becomes simplified as they approach perfection. So if you devote to system, gradually work on the system, the action will be simplified. And that is how he tried to find a system and approach which is simple, which is objective, which is straight. Not based on the mind and abstraction of mind. And if you really want to understand the abstraction of mind, you can go to General Analysis Introduction and read how mind is abstracted. Why SFFT? Now, I have already said you need organ, combined organ, you need pathogenesis, its evolution, right? You need altered physiology, the function, need the expressions and the time. There is no other tool than SFFT which will give you everything. So, seat of the disease in terms of anatomical sphere and evolution with time in pathogenesis, change in physiological function and reason with time with pathogenesis. These are the concepts which he used in writing Materia Medica. Expression of time, including cause and concomitant, expression of sensation and complaint, the time in all its dimension. So working on all this background and the concept of reason, the physiological reason was picked up for the study. Through current advancement in clinico-pathological understanding of the diseases, and this tool was most appropriate to expand and to understand the Boger's concept of reason. And there are two very important parts. The supplemental reference table in BSK is a ongoing work which stopped with Boger. But when you look at, I mean, how many of you know old learners who had gone to Girgam, OPD or Chembur, there is a BSK with blank page interview. And on that, you will find MLD sir has entered through his handwriting. That was the work in progress, which probably stopped there. Now is the time to relook at it. So we took up PhD projects. One is reason, another is generality, and third is mental state. Probably I have completed with keeping reason section, exploration and additions with verifications. Two are under process, and probably today's presentation will encourage them to speed up their processes. So literature, the methodology for PhD literature search was done and review was done, as I have shared few of the examples. Standard guidelines were set up. Clinical cases of 10 polycrest remedy, 15 each were taken. SFFT of complaints were prepared. They were put to checklist. Analysis of checklist were done and observations were noted. Synthesis were done based on Boger's concept. Findings were compared with BSK reason and section. And then verification, specification and additions were done. The purpose was not to rewrite or redo things. Purpose primarily was to let down the process so that each one of us can work through this process and start updating BSK for use of the homeopathic fraternity. I'll just show you some example of the work. So these were the cases because I had to define the variables. So these all details were taken, and we'll see in that there is no single oh God. So this is a detail of the patients because we wanted a sample with, we wanted a sample with less of variables. So, you know, we tried to conduct the samples with the demography, marriage, age, education, occupation, caste, so that, you know, you don't find a single cluster in which you find patterns. So we wanted, that's why this was taken up. The age distribution, education, demographic findings were noted. These were the diagnostic distributions. Then system distributions. Then sphere of action, which are affected in natrum carb. Then types of tissue affected. then function altered, then pathologies, and these were the observations. I'll just take that back to the things. In this, A means addition to current BSK. V means verifications, and S means specifications. Out of 15 cases, whatever was derived. So, the original BSK only has got nerves as a tissue, but smooth muscles, blood vessels, skeletal muscles, cartilages, mucous membrane, and glands. The organ system digestion was verified. The skin was verified. Hands, dorsi, and heels were not good, but we have generalized it to musculoskeletal system. Joint was an addition. GIT upper and lower. I mean, I was surprised not to have GIT in that terms. Probably Boger has generalized in terms of digestion, both upper and lower, in terms of organ system. Degeneration as a pathology was a new finding. Otherwise, inflammation, ulceration, they can be connected with GIT, but it's not there in a BSK Mathemedica. The general state of exhausted, relaxed, puffy, weakness, hypersensitive to external stimuli and dietics, they were not seen at that level, but they are there because they are connected with digestion somewhere. This is MLD sir's. And I'm glad I got the gland as an addition, and there is a gland here already appearing. So this is the work in progress. This is the legacy in which we have to now work on. So these are the conclusions of Natrum Carb. So what is the learning out of the whole process? Boger integrated all the approaches and defined each component of totality and its individualization. What is important is he has not worked alone on organ or pathogenesis. He gave definition to all components of totality, and he tried to characterize, gave the operational way in which they can be used for coming to simillimum. Extended meaning of generals, just extended from Boenninghausen. This is a very important concept of physiological reason. Probably we are not using in our day-to-day practice, where we get carried away. So when you generalize, a lot of these concepts are useful in totality. So it's up to us. How do we take this forward? And when I sat back and I reflected the whole of our ICR system, the different tools, how do they excite or instigate your inner inquiries? because whatever you attempt, it's going to ask you questions. And if you try and attempt to solve, it gives you reason to explore. So each of tool, if you follow the system, as a practitioner, this also is very useful to develop research mindset. Because for homeopathy and for homeopath, each case in it is a research. So if you develop this mindset, and this is only possible, that's why from morning we are seeing the SFFT tool, the repertorizations concept and approach, and here SFFT tool. Now they are so inherent and foundations which will guide us for our PhD work. So thank you all. I think I have not exceeded.
Thank you, Dr. Bipin. It was a very insightful and a deep learning session. And now I invite Dr. Hitesh Purohit to come sum up the session and take questions. He is the principal MKSH and academic head MKSH.
Good afternoon, everybody. Boger was introduced to me in 1988 during ICR training period. Later on, I learned something more about Boger in one of the symposia years back. And then knowledge was up to the certain level. But when Bipin sir started and when I was a guide, so it was a reverse process because he used to send me the RAC work, so I had to go back to what he has written. So in that way, my learning also continued of a Boger. Thank you, Dr. Bipin. It was really interesting because when I see it was a masterly work which Dr. Bipin has done from the Boger's era to the LDD sir and MLD sir, and integrated specifically the integration of the concept of a evolution of a Boger to the current era, which was really remarkable. Simultaneously, he very well focused on the importance of structure form function, because when we learnt in 1988, structure form function was not up to that extent we used to. We learned structure form function in one of the symposia, and then day in, day out, we started learning because we had a ICR center at Baroda. So, gradually, we also learned number of things, and I think what Bipin has presented today was noteworthy not only for the academic purpose, but it was a clinical insight and simultaneously focused very well on research also. And that was really interesting for all of us to know. And definitely I would say that I have gone through his Kalikav work, because in a synopsis he has to present the Kalikav and then as a final viva also. It definitely helps. In what way it has given me the insight, because I have worked on 100 cases of carcinosin, as my PhD work is due, our open viva is due in different university. But that has helped me that the way Bipin has done the work, I should also. There is a definite difference in both the work. But so when you have a, I would not say Bipin as a student, because he has made his guide to work in a different level. But it was really interesting journey to understand the Boger, to understand the various concept of Boger, which has been carried forward by LDD sir and the MLD sir and by the Bipin sir. Thank you, Bipin sir. And thank you for giving me this opportunity on ICR day to speak something about the entire process of the PhD, how it helps us to evolve further in life. Thank you. Thank you. Any question, answer? So once, so everybody has to apply the Boger and then question may come. Thank you.
So gentlemen can stand here because we are going to start with all of you. I invite Srimati Varada Pense, our Human Resource Facilitator and Trustee of MLD Trust, to felicitate Dr. Hitesh Purohit, Principal and Guide of Bipin Jain and Mihir Parikh. Yeah. Omkar, I think you need to. Yeah, 1 minute. Yeah. You can make it plain.
नहीं वो लाइट है
Acha, okay. So I invite. Where is the class? Okay. I invite Dr. Mihir Parikh to please come on the dais. He completed his PhD as well. And his topic. Yeah, we are doing one after the other. Okay. Okay, Bipin Jain's topic was researching the Boger LDD MLD legacy and his operational implications, same as what he presented. And now I invited Dr. Mihir Parikh. Please wait. Yeah, how's that? 1 minute. Mihir's topic was randomized placebo-controlled trial for the efficacy of calcarephos 6X in modifying susceptibility of children with malnutrition in the age group of 1 to 5. A big round of applause to all the PhD people. Yes. And then I asked Dr. Nirav, Professor Organon, Vidyadeep at C College. His topic was about comparison of LM and CM potency scales through ADHD cases and observing the susceptibility. Srimati Varada Pense again. Yeah. So we have 4 PhDs. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Varda Pense. Now I invite Dr. Sunil Bhalinge, Director Education ICR Training, to give away the SCR completion certificate to Dr. Bhairavi Kothari. Dr. Bhairavi is the alumni. She's alumni MLDMHI in medicine. She is also successfully coordinating the online SCR training programs very diligently. So we want more students now to take the SCR exams. Thank you. Thank you. In today's time, technology is important to reach the people of different fields and at different levels of growth. So I invite Shri Sunil Chauhan, Director CSR. He is a corporate entrepreneur turned social entrepreneur, marrying corporate efficacy with non-profit passions to create measurable impact. Mr. Sunil Chauhan. I also invite Dr. Suraj Dhirwani, a homeopath and an IT consultant who bridges medicine and technology, a dynamic person and also a social entrepreneur. They are going to launch the website. Mr. Sunil, please come up.
इसको माइक दे देंगे चलेगा हाँ फिर हम प्रोजेक्ट
Good afternoon, everybody. We are now moving forward, as Dr. Gayatri said, in the digital arena of the world. We all know, I mean, it goes without saying, that a website and social media handles, these are our window to the world for anybody and everybody, whether you are a homeopathic institute, you're a hospital, you are a corporate, you're an individual, or whatever. So for the world, if you want people to know us, which of course we do, then there is no other option but to have a good looking website and good social media handles. Our existing website is rather dated. It's about 10 years old. I'm the culprit for that. Saili and I had designed that 10 years ago. And of course, MLDT continued to do wonderful, exciting, challenging things thereafter over the last 10 years, which certainly needs to go onto the website. So this time we decided that rather than doing an internal work, let's go to a technocrat and launch a new website. Fortunately, we found Dr. Suraj Dhirwani and his team, Dr. Mrs. Dhirwani, who themselves are homeopath and, needless to say, great fans of MLDT. Well, who isn't in the world of homeopathy? And at least Suraj has turned more technocrat than a homeopath. As a result, he understands our language or your language. It's not even my language. I'm also a technocrat. He understands your language and he knows how to convert that clinical language into a website that people will understand. So we had a pre-launch in April. Some of you probably attended that. And today I'm so pleased to announce that the final website is ready and we are ready to launch that and tell the world what we are and invite them to us and collaborate with us on more ways than one. The other most important digital presence that we all know we must have is social media handles, which again Dr. Dhirwani and his team has made us available. All the professional social media handles, be it LinkedIn, be it YouTube, be it Instagram, WhatsApp of course is there. Now he's done his bit, now the time is for us to do our bit. The social media handles are worth only the content on that. And I'm sure all of you are consumers of social media handles in any case. Now you need to be a producer also. So if you want the world to know about MLDT and MLDMHI, and I don't think there's any if there in any case, we want the world to know. So since we want the world to know about MLDT and MLDMHI, we all, and that is you all, the faculty, the management, the students, everybody has to come up with case studies, stories, videos, whatever that you want the world to know as to how great this institute is, then you have to contribute that. He's made the technical platform available to us, but we have to work on it, and each one of us. Today, the statistics is rather poor. I mean, we want to have 50 posts every month, but we barely get about 8 or 10. And that is really sad. You know, he's constantly complaining, I'm constantly complaining, and so is everybody. But the action has to happen. So this is my appeal to all of you that please, please, and please, I couldn't emphasize it more, come forward and share the story. And everybody knows these days that the world is social media. You know, you can change governments with social media. What is MLDT, making MLDT famous? So please go ahead and contribute to that. And we would like to launch the website with a small video that Suraj and team has put together. Please visit the website regularly and we'll tell you what all features it offers us and how do we go out to the world. Suraj.
I'll have to do a dual sync, so.
For over 50 years, this great and grand institution has been a beacon of hope, wisdom, and transformation. As we step into the future and embrace the digital world, welcome to the official digital home of MLD Trust. At the heart of this website lies the very soul of our development. We invite you to experience our core mission through 3 powerful pillars. Give where your generosity finds a purpose. Across all our centers, learn where knowledge empowers the next generation. As you navigate the site, these sections seamlessly guide you through our story, giving every visitor a profound glimpse into who we are. Whether you're a donor who wants to contribute, a homeopath seeking resources and education, or a patient looking for care, you shall get what you see. And not just the people. This site is designed to comply with some of the most critical SEO keywords, metrics, and technicalities. One of the core concepts is that we are integrating everything under one virtual roof. All our centers, diverse initiatives, and historic milestones are unified. The full scale of our impact can be mapped in this site. Explore our centers across the region with an unprecedented level of depth, with interconnected operations at every level. This will further integrate with digital information channels that lead to the right resource. But this isn't just an informational site. It's also utilitarian. Looking for our publications? Our extensive library is now at your fingertips. Browse all books in one place, add multiple titles to your cart, and experience hassle-free checkout with dynamic, weight-based shipping rates and a highly secure integrated payment gateway that accepts multiple payment methods. Why stop at e-commerce? We went ahead and took a step into e-learning as well, with dedicated pages and registration processes for ICR symposia, HPGT, and various other courses. Given the vast sections that encompass this one site, additional efforts have been made to make information more accessible, prominent, and visually appealing, whether it is the ticker, pop-ups, or just a scrolling section of announcements. But beyond every feature, every page, every product, 3 words carry the entire philosophy of this institution forward. Give, heal, and learn. Not 3 destinations, but one continuous circle at the new digital home, mldtrust.org.
Thank you, Dr. Hirwani and your team for creating this wonderful website. As you all saw, that we all care for our patients anyway, so HEAL is there. A day like this and many other opportunities where we create opportunities for learning. And of course, the third one, which is give. So there's a big block there which says donate. Talk to your prospective donors and send them a link for that, so that we need to attract more and more donations. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a long journey with this particular site, far longer than we would have imagined. But we realized it's so long because the journey that we are trying to encapsulate here is equally long and really humongous. It was kind of overwhelming in some sense, and at the same time, there was a sense of pride in building this to be able to support something like this. And I have to thank Kumar sir, Anup sir, Sunil sir, and so many people, Tamanna ma'am who's not here today, who have supported this to bring it to this journey here today. While we are launching it today, Anup sir just mentioned, that PhD thesis that had gone out, however it is, let's just bring it out. We are somewhere similar with this site today, that we are managing to bring it out. But there are definitely few areas that we would have loved to have some more data, some more content. We know we have created certain sections here that have the potential to reflect all the work that has been done in a far more structured manner. We all know that we all Google, right? And now the time has come to AI. If tomorrow, if a homeopath, a budding homeopath, someone who's just looking at, joining the world of homeopathy, and I'm not even talking about the patients yet, is looking at an AI tool and going to ask about certain methodology, MLDT's name won't just directly feature there unless we are already mentioning all of that on some digital platform. Just because there's a recording of today's event on YouTube does not automatically translate into that coming up as a search result on Google or in an AI tool. We have actually moved well beyond Google now. So what we put here is going to take 2 to 3 months to get picked up by Google's bots, get indexed, and subsequently find its way into answers being given even by AI tools to people. So we need more content coming in here. We have spaces for articles here. We are directing to JISH from here. I have Nikun sir right there. We have spaces to mention all the ongoing projects which can then be marked as completed. Various research material, the entire PDF can be put, various sections have been created where the authors can be credited, the authors can get their own profile. But all of this needs far more content. If you visit the ICR symposium page, the recent ICR that we had at Vadodara, and Dr. Ami ma'am is here. So all the videos of that, we managed to link onto the page. So the next time someone comes onto this page, the next time we have our symposium, you can easily visit and see what happened the previous time. But we could only do that because they helped us get those videos. There was a lot of effort that went in at Vadodara to give us a lot of photos, and we could do that. But if at the next symposium we don't get those videos, we don't get the right content, then there is nothing much for us to put. So it's a beautiful open space. There's lots of space. Don't worry about anything when it comes to being technically sound or crashing. We're here to help you with that. But what we really need help with is far more content that can be forthcoming, which as we had spoken in November also, I'll reiterate, it might not seem as important to you. It might seem something maybe, okay, you just solved one more good case. But to us, to represent MLDT digitally, it's very critical, and we would love to have that, and we are here to assist you for whatever that you need to get that case out better, in a better structured format. We don't intend to burden your shoulders further with digital or technology work. We are here for that. But please help us with more content for this site, and any support or anything that you need, we are here. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
I invite Dr. Kumar, our mentor, to felicitate the Technomedic team. Dr. Suraj and Mrs. Dhirwani. Can we have a big round of applause? Thank you, Dr. Surat. Mr. Sunil. Mr. Sunil Chauhan. Oh, happy birthday, Sunil. You'll remember that the website came out on your birthday. Thank you, everybody. Now I invite Dr. Manoj to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you very much to Almighty that in spite of all uncertainty of weather, we are able to assemble here. Thank you to all of you, because without you, in time of now webinar available or through web we are available, always there is an anxiety that how many people will come. It started with 15 only, just 6 days back. And there is 65. So this is very good. So round of applause to all of you to spend time and coming here. First of all, thank to Kumar sir for conceiving the whole program of today, and see to it that the last that pani ka bottle aaya ki nahi stage par tak sir has kept track of it. So thank you very much, Kumar sir, for making all of us celebrate this day so beautifully. I am also thankful to all PhD guide, PhD scholars and the people who have now doctorate to come and share their experience, and it really is wonderful experience that we are all going through. It is just few more questions that you left us to explore further, and I'm sure today it will be a beginning of understanding Boger, Boenninghausen and its work more deeply into our clinic. I'm extremely thankful to Dr. Gayatri for conducting this entire event in time. Big round of applause to her, because this is something which we started 10:10 and we are finishing in time. The media team of Suraj Bhai and whole team that we could make it this beautiful advertisement about it, reach up to people in a short time. Omkar and team for web release and number of things which they have done to see that we are reaching to a number of people in numbers. Palghar and team, 2 दिन से गाड़ी लेके आना, सब stage arrange करना, all this is just, it's very, very beautiful experience to go through when you are in my position, because just phone करते हैं और चीज बनते जाती है. थोड़ी anxiety रहती है कि चीज पहुंचेगी कि नहीं, because of the weather. And also extremely thankful to this center. I am so proud that I am trustee here also. And this center was designed, and this is the first medical lecture today happening. Previously there was some trust related thing which we have done for musical inauguration. So I think, hope all of you like this place. There is going to be metro station coming very close soon. New metro which will start up to Bandra. So I think this center can become our center. I'm very thankful to Kirtan Kendra Trust, because not only this hall which we are getting today at quite reasonable rate, but they are donating to our Bhopoli project. Whatever profit comes, part of that goes to Bhopoli. So I'm very thankful to Kirtan Kendra Trust, and sir, thank you. आपके हिसाब से सब कुछ टाइम पे हुआ. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, lovely. So end of the day. Anyone left, please? Sorry. नाना भाई क्या गए? Thank you, कमलेश sir, सब teacher जो आए हैं CMP से भी, और it has really enthused us to reach to everyone.